Obviously very excited. We're 2 days away, and the pitching ramp up is your biggest concern entering the preseason. I don't think any program would have a flawless re-entry to that. We did pretty well. We're in a position now where Cam Leiter will throw Friday, Jamie Arnold will throw Saturday, Connor Whitaker Sunday. We feel like those guys had a nice progression into this. And their stuff has been, although different, really good. Leiter gives us some energy and some intensity every pitch. You guys you'll sense that when he rolls out there. I think he has 4 good pitches in play, a good lively fastball, over the top big breaking ball, kind of like Bowmeister breaking ball, hard slider, and feel for a changeup. And he's into every pitch. It's fun. Like when he takes the field, you'll feel that energy. And we hope that he continues to develop and do what he's done leading up to us choosing him to throw on Friday. Jamie Arnold, the lower slot lefty, as you've seen, the velocity's been anywhere from 90 to 96, and when it syncs up, it's a really nice climbing type fastball. Changeup come along with that. A little better feel for his slider. The repeatability, we saw glimpses of it last year. Now you hope after that season in the Cape, you start to see more consistent flashes of, at times, what's brilliance on the mound. So we need these guys to both get deep. Whitaker is just a tough right-hander with 3 pitches in play, command of the running game, engaged with every part of what you have to do as a pitcher. And he's just gotten better. The sense of himself and knowing what to do and getting that ball in on the lefties a little bit and clearly running it in on the righties. And I think Mike has done a nice job with his slider, a little more consistent firmness to the slider, good changeup. So we're in good shape there. And then you look at Carson Dorsey, the lefty, over the top, climbing fastball, breaking ball, slider, changeup, pretty good feel for all of it. Junior college lefty is going to help us a lot out of the pen, bounces back well, dynamic, different look. Ben Barrett, saw a lot of him last year. Again, just a little bit more seasoned, improved, better sense of self, a little more grasp of what he's trying to do out there. And he's physical. Like we need a lot out of Ben. Like he's 6'5", big athletic guy. So we hope that just keeps coming along. Noah Short, side armor, from transfer from West Virginia. And then Gavin Adams, who you guys, as you know, 98 to 101. I think you're going to probably see more than that. Harnessing the command of the fastball is the key. Power changeup, good hard gyro type slider. So, and I could go on and on. Like you have Oxford and you have Armstrong. Armstrong didn't ramp up great, so don't know that we're going to see him out of the gate. But he'll be a factor in Ox, and some of the guys that we've seen before here are going to factor into this. Then you have on the mound what I call the young guns: Matt Salser, Hudson Rowan, Brady Lauk. At times, it's been dynamic. Salser, right-hander, good, lively fastball, and Hudson Rowan got hurt his high school senior year, hurt his knee, so we didn't have him in the fall. But in the spring, you're talking about a freshman that's 92 to 95 with a nice little tight downward breaking ball. I think he's going to help us. And Brady Lauk got hurt in high school again, didn't have him in the fall, so he's kind of working his way back in there. Didn't have a full fall season, just jumped in the preseason. But gosh, 90 to 93 freshman lefty, good stuff. So I like the makings of what I see with the pitching staff so far. Defensively, options behind the plate, far deeper. Holbrook West, Dingus, Riley Jackson, Lance Triple. We have options. Somebody needs to take the lead defensively and show us that they can really command the game behind the plate. But clearly options, and Jackson West is a left-handed bat. That's a nice piece to have back there. You like Cam, as this has crept closer to first pitch of the season, you see Cam's at-bats crisping up a little bit. The guy played every pitch all his freshman year. He went to the Cape. He played every game in the Cape Cod League. He comes back, jumps right back into fall practice, into the preseason. That's a lot. That's a lot of baseball. But you're starting to see the fruits of that labor and how hard he's worked. He's continued to groom himself at third. Plenty of options in the middle. We talked about it this morning in the office for 30 minutes on what to do in the middle of the field. You have just so many good options. Then there's going to be guys that work their way in and get chances. Lodis, Farrow, Fisher, Kamaka, those guys, you can move those guys around. And we have depth, and we have a little more athleticism and a little more experience in the middle, so that clearly helps. Cantu at first base has been a solidifying force in the infield. He knows how to play the position. It's a left-handed bat. He's physical. He's experienced. So you like the looks of that, and then you go into the outfield, and you know Tibbs is going to be a factor. I think he's one of the more advanced college hitters I've worked with. Diamez, when he's on his game, he's been on it the last couple weeks. You started to feel the quality of the at-bat get better, and there's some strength in there now. And the bunting game, Jordan Williams, Andrew Duncan, those guys will factor in, both center field type athletes. And then Ferrer and Max Williams are probably the other two leading outfield candidates. Ferrer, more physical this year. I think the approach coming off of a whole summer of swinging the wood bat in the Cape, the approach of the pitch selection a little bit better. Max Williams, thunderous left-handed bat, transfer, how he factors in, we're going to see. But it's a very smooth, quality outfield athlete. Marco Dingus, for those of you that have watched, it is lightning bat speed. There's strength there. There's damage intent when he's at the plate. So it's fun. Like, it's a fun at bat to watch, right-handed hitter. So again, the summary of that is I like the balance and the physicality of the lineup. You have the left-handed look, you have the right-handed look, you've got some switch hit options in there. So I like what I see. Concerns, some of the younger arms, how well they acclimate to what this is going to feel like Friday at Dick Howser Stadium. It's different than the scrimmages. When you go on the road, them learning what this feels like and how to handle the ups and downs of outings. We're going to have to get those young arms into this thing quickly, because I think they're advanced, good, dynamic arms, and we need them. But it's still new. So with the guys that are starting, you turn it over to maybe some younger guys at times out of the bullpen. There's some age in there too, but I do like the younger guys, how quickly they can hold serve on repeating the quality of the outing. That's what we need to see, and I hope that happens right out of the gate. Defensive cleanliness and instincts, I've talked about it before with you guys. I still feel at times that's something we need to ratchet up a little bit. Some of the off script, the plays are not scripted. Like, there's things that happen that are quirky, that are off script, that you have to be able to adapt and handle, and at times I have concerns about our ability to manage those things and adapt as awkward moments happen in these games, which clearly they do, every game. So those would be the things that I have the most concerns with. But going into this, I feel very good about where we are, like personnel-wise. Knock on wood, fairly healthy, and I think we're in a good spot.
When you talk about the worries of like defensive cleanliness, is that just them not working together all that often? Is it the inexperience overall, or just something that can develop over the course of the season?
I think some of it is togetherness. I think I can go around and check some boxes that I wish we had cleaned up, like behind the plate. Just some of the stuff we're running up there is tough to catch, but you have to range and block it. Some of the things that happen at third base, specific plays for Cam that we keep working on that are not necessarily as routine, but maybe pushing the above average play. So it's kind of a combination of maybe some team stuff with trying to just move them along individually at their position to some of the things that I see day in and day out. Like when you take 50, 60, 80 ground balls a day, there's probably things that I leave upset about that I'm probably being hard on them. But I do see it, and those things do show up. So it's the individualized details at the position combined with when you onboard 26 new players. There were times playing here, I don't know that we had 26 guys on the postseason team or on the roster. So that's a lot of newness. So there are things that come up with the communication and the sense of how other people handle situational baseball that is part of the acclimation too. So it's a little bit of both.
Is Gavin, who you originally look at out of the gate as your closer, possibility?
When we talk about it, we don't feel that holding somebody necessarily to close out of the gate is the right way to go. We know that there may be leverage moments when your starters have exhausted their pitch count a little bit, and you might be in a jam in the 6th or 7th inning that you may feel there's a matchup, whether that was somebody you intended to finish the game or not. I think we have good options, so we haven't really designed it to necessarily hold somebody for the 9th inning or the 8th and 9th inning. I just think we have to get into this and give the guys that have shown us the best performances fall and preseason the crack at it, and then just try to gather those outs at the end of the game.
You mentioned Leiter's intensity. Just how big was that for him, being the Friday guy, just being the tone setter to begin the weekends?
I think he's felt this since he told me he wanted to come be a Seminole. I think this is something that was on his mind. He talks about winning all the time. Like I want to win, coach. I want to win. I want to win. Like from day one. And for him to run out there and kind of provide that, let's get into these fights. These are weekend wars that we're going to jump into here. And having somebody with that kind of energy and stuff to go out there and get you into that and match some of the other arms that we're going to see throughout the course of this season, it's really important. You'll see it. Like there's an energy level and a focus on every pitch. And it's been fun to watch. Now, we haven't done it with another team in this dugout. Like it's been, for the most part, us, the two fall games that we played. Different than what we're going to feel Friday, but the exuberance and the sense of passion you feel when he's on the mound, it's pretty good.
I think Cam dropped his K rate from the regular season from about 20% in the Cape. Just what adjustments did you see him make up there, and how have you seen him kind of bring it back here?
I think he's simplified his swing a little bit. When he got here, there was a lot of movement, and when young guys come into this arena and are thrust into what they dealt with last year with the schedule, it's tricky. And there were a lot of young guys that had to go through it. So archiving, like once you simplify some of the mechanics, processing and archiving what these pitches look like, some of these secondary pitches, if you haven't seen it consistently, it takes a little while for your baseball savviness to start to process what Rhett Lauder's secondary pitches look like. It's not easy. So making those mid-pitch adjustments, I think, is the hardest thing. So when you combine simplified mechanics with a little bit more data on what these pitches look like and release point and spin and ways to decipher the fastball from the secondary pitches, I think it's all of that has led him to look a little bit more disciplined at the plate. And he's still going to get pitched very tough. Like everybody coming in here knows what he can do. And when he walks into the batter's box, it stands out, like the presence physically. So he's going to get your best bolts. And I just think it's a combination of simplified mechanics and a better understanding of pitch recognition and approach, like what to look for and how to game plan pitch by pitch. He's done a nice job.
You guys added the 2 pitch clocks in here. Do you expect the rules to kind of get forced a little bit more this year? I think there were only 2 called against you guys last year.
Yeah, I feel like our team's pace has been fine. When you add the clocks, like the umpire keeping this, it's there. So there may be times you're not quite sure of the pitch clock, and there may have been times the umpires don't start it as soon as maybe somebody running a clock would, and I hope our technology's here so the third base umpire, can actually run this from his belt. That's why we put the clock in line with the third base line so the third base umpire can run it and also enforce it. When the clocks are here, it's out there for everybody to see. So you have to be more on point because it's in your face at all times. I think the players are more conscious of it, and we've run it during the scrimmages. So I think we're ready, but it is a nice touch. The one out there under the clock is good, and I like where we have the one up in the concourse there. It's not in any way affecting anything on the field. It's very visible to the pitcher. That one's visible to the hitter, and the umpire controlling it is really good because there were times on the road last year where somebody's operating the clock up top, but the umpire may not have agreed with when they started the countdown. So you ran into that, the clock had expired, but they didn't call it. I think this cleans it up. And because you have visible clocks, it needs to be run that way so there's no confusion.
Anything else?